president of the Friends Board, which is why I am here today. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Karen.
Welcome, Karen.
President of the Friends Board.
I'm Annie Bate. I am a retired city employee, and I used to do classes up in Fit 50, and will again once it becomes safe enough again.
Thank you.
No reflection on Kanoi and how she's running things, just a reflection on a family health thing that we just got to be careful still for a little while for somebody in our family.
Thank you, Annie. Okay. Shall we begin or wait for Ron maybe? Is there?
You know what? We've called both phone numbers, and so we're going to go ahead and start, if you wouldn't mind. So just call the meeting to order, and then Suzanne can do roll call.
Okay, I call the meeting to order. Suzanne, would you like to give roll call?
I sure will. That's March 7th. Alan Scott. Elise Lipnick.
Here.
Annie Bate.
Here.
Bonnie McGregor.
Yeah. Yes.
David Haber.
Here.
John Hughes. I come from.
Are you having trouble hearing, Suzanne?
I didn't hear John.
David
Hughes.
Haber said here.
Yeah, I heard that. And then John Hughes, I think, is here just because I see the Comfort Care name.
Yeah, John Hughes.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
Thank you. Julie Lutke is excused. Karen Bolliger,
Here.
Linda Schellenberg,
Here.
Margaret Manugian, Ron Rubel, and Scott Harper. Okay, that's
Okay.
everything.
Excellent. Okay, we've done introductions unless I'm missing someone. And
This is Marilyn. May I help you?
maybe we have announcements. We'll pause a minute. Okay. We'll wait till Marilyn gets back to make the announcements. Approval of minutes of February 7th. Did everyone get a copy of it? And would
Yes.
anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Excellent.
I second.
Second, and all who approve, raise your hands.
Yep.
And any oppose and abstain? I need to see everybody because I just see a few. Okay. But all right, so approval of minutes. So public comments. So Marilyn, do we have anyone for public comments? Uh-oh, Marilyn, you're muted.
We do not have anyone here for public comment.
Okay. I believe action or discussion items. Center 50 Advisory Council Annual Report.
Yes, let me show that.
Okay.
We have a draft that I'm going to put up on the screen and then send to you. Just know that there's way too many words and there's a few places of empty information, but I want to show you the flavor, the feel, what direction we kind of went with. We're still working with desktop publishing to make sure it looks good. Let's see. Thank you for your patience as we are pulling this up. It's loading because it has lots of pictures.
Oh, good.
Um,
Excellent. How do I get out of this thing? Close. Yes.
okay. Here we go. Going to share my screen.
Yay.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the kind of the flavor of this year's or the theme of this year is that programs go on here at Center 50 Plus, but the whole point is that we're doing it together. You know, their friendships, the relationships with others. And so we're kind of trying to build on every category here at the center. Yes, here's a data point, but the truth of the matter is the outcome is relationships. So that's kind of the direction we're going with it. We have some pictures from our village and some of our outreach services on the front page. Let's see. Are you seeing me move down?
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The second page, we focus on just reiterating what our mission, vision, and strategic goals are. These do not change. We create a work plan to support these large strategic goals each year in our work plan. But we do have objectives, and in those objectives, we are circling or bringing attention to those things that are combating isolation and are building on friendships. These objectives are based on our work plan and our strategic operation plan that we follow, but it also talks about kind of the direction we're going in terms of our age-friendly work. Again, you will have this in a hard copy in front of you. So just know that my first thing when I got this was, wow, Marilyn takes a paragraph to say something she could do in a sentence. So we're going to be cutting some words, and your input on that is very helpful. And then a quote from Ron as our advisory president. Then we hit our data points. We have our volunteers. We did 400 volunteers, and we had 400 volunteers in 2022. They gave 64,000 hours, 1.9 million value to the community, and that's based on a 29.95 figure. But we also wanted to spotlight, why do people even volunteer here? And of course, the number one reason is to form lasting friendships. I mean, that is the bonds of friendship. I mean, that is why people volunteer here. Followed by some of the other important things, being a part of a community need, to contributing in a meaningful way, but these are the top categories. But on every page, under these different data points, we list right on that page what's coming up in 2023. And these are based on the strategic goals that we've been following. We've identified things that we are working towards. And in 2023, our goal is to continue to utilize a volunteer workforce. But to do that, we have some things. We have to have adequate staffing. And we honestly have to redesign our volunteer program to create an efficient system. If all of you are volunteers, I am sure many of you have feedback on the clunkiness of connecting to the right volunteer duty here. Well, frankly, we got 400 volunteers and no HR manager for them. And so how do we fix that? But on every page, we say, this is what we've done, and this is where our goals are for the upcoming year. Really important, the bulk of what we've been doing is building a sense of community through our homebound programs, our outreach services. It's pretty impressive the number of people that are connected to the center that may or may not even come to the center, but are still a part of our relationship building and development. What is next for building a sense of community? This is where we hit our outreach goals. Outreach and Villages Network, where we're trying to go with it, a couple of things that we can do to continue to build on it. And right now we listed, more outreach, cleanups and service days in more neighborhoods. And then also generating more program delivery in communities. In the community, like our pop-up programming, intergenerations or generation camps, and then accessing some of our great assets in town, our parks, our, dead-end streets and cul-de-sacs. We're looking at every open space and saying, what could we do to program there? Can we be at the library? Can we be at a school? Can we be at a park? Because, honestly, our building is not going to get a third floor. And it is geographically, it's placed in a single location in a very large city. And so to have a single point building isn't what's going to build community. Hey, come on over to Center 50 Plus, and then you can be connected. But instead, we're taking it out into neighborhoods. And so we try to speak to the volume here. You'll see how the numbers have changed on the next page. So we have 9,800 non-duplicated participants. That means they are registered in our My Senior Center system, and have visited here at least once in the last 3 years. So they are still a part of, and we haven't received notification that they are no longer with us. And so we maintain a 9,800 non-duplicated participant list. Now here's where we've made some adjustments. In the past, we always talked about total registrations and daily average attendance. And during COVID, if you can look in this little chart, 2020, we had nothing to report except for outreach. And it occurred to us that moving forward, if we're really being true to our statistics, we needed to note the reach, not just those that walk in our door, but the services that are delivered in the community and the number of people that engage in that. And you can see we had a peak in 2019, of course. Almost nothing in 2020 in terms of registrations because everything was free and virtual. Then in 2021, we were partially opened and you had to register, and there was some things that kept these numbers at 23,900. And in 2022, we're on the build. We're back up to 65,000. So we're not fully restored in 2022, but nor are we offering a full offering. So in 2022, we still had all a variety of restrictions and things going on, including our daily average attendance is down because we haven't even brought back the lunch program or any of our drop-in activities. Everything was by registration, and we didn't have the milling going on. But look at our WOW Van and outreach attendance. We continue to grow and build on that. So while we're opening up the building, we're still continuing to build on our WOW Van and outreach attendance. And then we are capturing information referral, the number of calls that come into the front desk that are directed to an outside source where we're connecting them to another program or service. We had a peak in 2020 because everyone was calling us for every kind of service, trying to connect to something. A little bit less in 2021. And you can see kind of almost back to a normal level from 2019 to 2022, because things are opening back up and people are able to connect some of the resources on their own that they may have not been able to. In 2020, frankly, you could call almost anywhere and not get a person because a lot of places were closed. And so they called us. And so, but we want to capture that because it's still work. We weren't capturing our outreach. We weren't fully capturing our information and referral, but those are connections to the center. And so this is a work in progress. I would just say that we're still working on getting people to report, both volunteers and patrons, We're still working on capturing data because for our outreach in particular, because a lot of people are doing things independent of us once the relationships have been established. So for example, we might count them as a friendly caller one time, but now they are running errands, they're helping them with doctor's appointments, they're taking them to lunch. They have a whole different relationship with that individual. And we aren't really capturing that right now. So this page here is the one we want to really focus on for future, because we need to, one, do another survey of our patrons. We also need to do an online survey that's going to capture those that connect to us through the website and through our other sources. And we need to, we've come a long ways. When I started, we had slips of paper and someone sat there and counted the registration slips by hand, 280,000 of them a year. So we've come a long way from that, but I would just still continue to say that this is a work in progress. But what's next? The back page of all of our annual reports, we've had these critical goals. And this one still remains true: to increase patron and volunteer participation and utilize publicity, survey methods and programs, to expand, and to increase attendance. We want to make Center 50 Plus more inviting organization through intentional changes which improve diversity and inclusion, incrementally increasing statistics in the areas of age, gender, and ethnicity. So bottom line is we identify that we are 1%, we are 97% Caucasian and 1% of a few other things or less. And we know that we need to address this, whether it's partnering differently or marketing differently or programming differently or employing people that can support them in a different way. We know that to be the case. Health and lifelong learning. Kanoi is going to do her survey to get us fresh ones, but why people choose Fit 50 Plus. These were the reasons they came in the past. We want to know how people feel. We had 350 fitness members, 642 fitness classes. And now I know that Kanoi has bigger numbers, so she can report on that. Lifelong learning, number of students, number of classes, tech tutoring. And then 2023, what's next? I'm not sure if that's the goal that goes on this page, but there is a goal for expanding the usage of the center. And the sideline of it is, yes, we expand the number of people coming to the building, but do we have the infrastructure to actually serve more people? Mm-hmm. So when everyone says 65,000 people that should be coming to Center 50 Plus, I always like, whoa, I have 152 parking places. So, that's not true. This page here is coming out. We've opted to reduce the size of the report, and we'll reach that one next year. Then we hit age friendly. We're highlighting that the mayor was recognized for the age friendly work this year, and I include the report. I also include the link to the assessment and or link / where to find it, as well as the action plan will go in here. Okay. And let's see, but 2023, what's next? That is wrong. They typed in the wrong thing. What goes there is the 2 projects that we have coming up this year, which is mobility, transportation, and communication plan. So this is the feel. Each page, I want to go through and identify where we have put a focus on relationships. So there's some work on that. But this is our draft and I just wanted to share that with you.
Wow. Nice. Very
I will
nice.
send it to everybody. And what I really would like is, yes, wordsmithing does help me. So don't feel like if you see a misspelled word that, oh, Marilyn will catch that. Just let me know, because I might not. I have multiple people looking at this, but I want this report to be something that you're proud of. We've done a lot of really good work. And I want to make sure that we're showing that. But if you have suggestions, ideas, things don't make sense, just send me that.
Okay.
Any
The
questions at this point? Any questions for me?
The organization of the pages seems very clear, and there seems to be an underlying theme. And the theme is, community and connectivity and all that kind of stuff. So I think that will come through the finished project.
I agree. It looks good, what we got so far. So now, did we covered age-friendly action plan, Center 50 annual report? Is that something we cover now, or?
Well, we just did the annual report, but the
Okay.
age-friendly action plan, I sent it out last month again about kind of what our overreaching goals are. And in that plan, we kind of prioritized, and the next one on the list was mobility, improving people's access to transportation if they don't have a personal car. That kind of was at the top of our initial assessment. And then another one that rose quickly to the top because of some great feedback from the commission is age-friendly communication. And each of you were asked to join a group, either mobility or communication. And I only have 2 people that did transportation and everyone else wanted communication. So I have reached out to, and I can talk about this in my director's comments, but the next step for the action plan, I just want to keep us moving forward, is I am bringing in at the next meeting, the advisory commission meeting on April 4th, I am bringing in 2 representatives from the city communication team. And they are going to lead us in a listening session. And my hope is that you'll come and do it in person. I will have to borrow all the technology to do a hybrid, and I will. But if you are available on April 4th at 9 a.m., I think it's going to be very beneficial for us all to be together for this listening session where you can talk about the website that's been created for us. I will have all the examples of our magazines and ad spots and radio times, and I will have examples there of what we currently do. And then we're going to be able to talk. And this is like step 1 of our age-friendly action plan, is just having an opportunity to everyone be in the same room and express our concerns or positives. I want positives too. And how we balance that with resources, budget and resources, being age-friendly in tools and techniques we're using. And we're really looking at Center 50 Plus because we have some control over Center 50 Plus in terms of our communication plan. But the whole goal is much bigger than that. It's to take what we do here and model behavior that we want others to follow. But until we have ours together, it's hard to tell anyone else what to do because we don't have a plan ourselves. So this is step 1. And then once we do this across the board, everyone has opportunity to give feedback and concerns. Then we will break up into our teams, our committee work. And Suzanne, I
Yeah.
don't see our committees listed on my agenda. Do you have those? Can you?
On the work plan was that where we have the different committees?
Yeah, and during my director's comments, would you please be ready to tell them when those meetings are for me?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So that's where we are on the action plan. I'm gonna resend it out again. I didn't get any feedback from the work plan this time. So if you get it and you want to look at it, I did get feedback like I'm interested in, but I didn't get any additional thoughts. And I really would like to hear if we're moving in the right direction. Remember, this was Mayor Chuck Bennett. This was something very important to him. We took on the responsibility of moving the age-friendly work forward for really ever, because it's never done. But it's a living, breathing process and document, and we want to make sure it's still living and breathing. Thank you.
Excellent.
Marilyn,
Yes.
just to help keep track of which comments you want for which kinds of things, since you said a lot of us said, oh, well, we'll be on this committee, but you wanted more. When you send out an attachment, can you just do a little piece and maybe you did, and I apologize if I didn't read the whole thing, but just a little piece saying, please tell me what committees, number 1, number 2, please review and send comments about the report.
Okay.
Because you have so much valuable information for us, and personally, I don't want to, like give you comments before you're ready for them, but I also don't want to ignore you if that's what your intent was.
I will do that. I may not have been clear in my.
Well, I'm not
narratives.
insinuating that you weren't clear. I'm insinuating that, like, now I'm kind of going, okay, I was supposed to, I'm trying to take notes, but when
I'm
the
with
email
Amy.
actually comes, it helps me to be focused and say, okay, this is what Marilyn wants now. So we
Exactly.
I don't give you stuff you don't want yet, but I give you what you do want.
So to reiterate the annual report, I want you to chalk it up and send me back your comments in any form, typos and corrections or additional information. On the action plan, I will note in there, I still need you to assign yourself to a committee, and I have 2 choices. I'm only able to operate 2 committees right now for the age friendly. I'd like you to see everyone participate in some capacity. And then if you have any feedback or concerns that you don't feel comfortable sharing in this platform or in this forum, please let me know.
Excellent. All right. Moving on to information reports, Alzheimer's Association partner.
Okay, now Elise, do you want to show from your screen, or did you want me? I know you sent it to me.
I sent it to you just in case, so let's
Okay, I'm gonna let you.
There we go. This.
Are you able to share your screen?
I'm doing it right now. Come on, share screen. Here we go. Do you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Okay, so my name is Elise Lipnitz, and I am a program manager for the Alzheimer's Association. So what I'm going to do today, instead of talking about the progress we've made and how many, services we've initiated and stuff, I'm going to go back to the basics and talk about all the things that the Alzheimer's Association does. And the reason for that is I know there are people that know I'm up here and they come to the center, but they don't really know exactly what we do. They're just not sure. So that's the reason for this. Our vision is simple. It's a world without Alzheimer's disease and all other dementia. To give you some statistics, more than 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's. By 2050, this number is expected to rise to nearly 14 million people. So that's pretty staggering, considering 2050 is not that far away. Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. Just do something here. There we go. Alzheimer's is the 5th leading cause of death among those age 65 and older. It is also a leading cause of disability and poor health. So who we are, we cover every county in Oregon and then 2 counties in Southwest Washington, which is why we are the Oregon and Southwest Washington chapter. But the Alzheimer's Association in whole is the leading voluntary health organization in Alzheimer's care, support, and research. We help to move our mission forward with the help of 6 strategic objectives: to re-educate and raise awareness to grow understanding. We advocate for the needs and rights of those facing Alzheimer's and all other dementia. We provide care and support to those affected, which is kind of where I live, in care and support. We accelerate research across the globe, and we increase revenue through the mobilization of communities to accelerate progress. So I think most everyone knows about Alzheimer's disease, but I'm just going to review just a short bit here, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So dementia is a syndrome or a collection of symptoms. It is what the person experiences, not what causes the experience. Having said that, dementia is not a proper diagnosis. Dementia has to be caused by something. And if you see the umbrella, you see all the main things, the main types of dementia that there are. So there's Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's disease accounts for about 60 to 80% of all dementia. So most of the time, when someone says they have dementia, they usually have Alzheimer's dementia. But there's also vascular dementia, which is caused by vascular accidents in the brain, strokes, TIAs. There's dementia with Lewy bodies. There's frontotemporal dementia. And then there's mixed dementia, where you have 2 co-occurring types at the same time. That can be a little more difficult to diagnose, but not impossible. So dementia-like symptoms can include cognitive, behavioral, and psychological symptoms due to biological changes in the brain. Some of these causes of cognitive decline are reversible and are not truly dementia. So it's very important, if you see these symptoms in yourself or with somebody that you know, it's very important to go to the doctor and get a diagnosis, because what they will do is a full workup. They'll do the blood work, they'll check on everything to make sure this is not something reversible and it truly is dementia, but many times it can be reversed. 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's or another dementia. 1 in 10 people age 65 and older has dementia, and that number goes gets smaller and smaller as you age. So by the time you're 85, you have a three out of 10. So this is 1 in 10. You have 3 out of 10. Sorry, I got confused on my math there. And by the age of 95, it's 1 out of 2 people.
Wow.
And so 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's or another dementia. It kills more than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. Between 2000 and 2018, deaths from heart disease have decreased, have decreased 7.8%, while deaths from Alzheimer's have increased by 146%. So being that it's the 6th leading cause of death, keep in mind too that out of the top 10 leading causes of death, Alzheimer's is the only one that has no way to prevent, treat, or slow it. So let's talk a little bit about our impact. We're on full mission here. We increase concern and awareness, so we continue our commitment to strengthen the momentum of the Alzheimer's disease movement by increasing concern about Alzheimer's disease and awareness of the Alzheimer's Association. The association is the leading voice for Alzheimer's disease advocacy, fighting for critical Alzheimer's research, prevention, and care initiatives at both the state and the federal level. Alzheimer's advocates work to improve dementia care and services, improve access to community-based care, improve quality care in residential settings, and expand funding for research and public programs serving people with dementia. Again, this is where I live. The association works to provide care and support for all those affected by Alzheimer's and all other dementia in a variety of different ways. Where did my mouse go? So we offer support groups, and mainly the support groups are caregiver support groups. So they're for the family. They're for the families dealing with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. We have both virtual and in-person groups. We also have one via phone. And then we have an early stage group, which is for the person with the diagnosis and their care partner. Currently, we have 52 support groups statewide. And actually on our bulletin board in the front of the Center 50 Plus building, you can see the listings there, or if you need a listing, you can always ask me. These are some of the education programs that we offer. And I will note that 183 education classes this fiscal year were given statewide. So the educational opportunities are for anyone that's interested in learning more about the disease, including family, professional caregivers, people with memory loss, and the general public. I know people have a lot of questions about this disease. So sometimes just taking a class can give you the amount of knowledge that you need to maybe answer your questions. We do have early stage engagement. So they engage those living with early stage Alzheimer's disease to improve quality of life. Programs focus on arts, entertainment, emotional support, physical activity, and more. Free resources. And I don't like how this slide kind of indicates that these are the only free resources that we have. I will tell you now, all of our programs and services are free at the Alzheimer's Association. So truly, we are just here to help. Look at the top, there's the 800 number. We do have this 800 number, which is 24/7, 365, and it's always online. And so you can call this number for pretty much anything you need. If you have a question, maybe a question about research, or if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you've just put your loved one to bed for the 5th time and you're just in crisis mode and you want to cry and you have no one to cry to. This helpline is staffed by master's level clinicians and geriatric social workers. So as the largest nonprofit funder of Alzheimer's research, the association is committed to accelerating the global progress towards methods of treatment, preventions, and ultimately a cure. We'll dig into research just a little bit. At any given moment, research is happening. So right now, over $208 million in 590 projects in 31 countries over 6 continents is being invested by research. So we do invest in research, and the Alzheimer's Association impact on research is 3rd in the world, only behind the US and the Chinese government. The Alzheimer's Association has played a vital role in every significant development in Alzheimer's research. So here I'm going to leave you. That's my presentation, but I'm going to leave this number up for you in case you want to write it down. I think this is probably one of the most important things you can do for someone that you know is caregiving for someone with Alzheimer's or has more questions. This is a really great number. My coworkers do a really good job over there. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm sorry for my croaky voice. Does anyone have any questions?
Elise, I just want to thank you. It's a very personal issue for me, so I'm very thankful. And I'll be giving them a call because there's got a lot of questions, and I really appreciate this.
Sure. And you know, if you ever get to the Center 50, you can come up in the office too and visit.
Excellent. Okay, will do. Thank you.
Great.
Anybody have questions?
Elise, where are some of these caregiver support groups meeting?
So in person, I have one here at the Center 50 on the 3rd Monday of the month, and I have one in Dallas, and then I have a West Salem one that's virtual, and then I actually have a long list that has all 52 groups, and it says whether they're virtual or in person, and I'd be happy to provide you with that if you'd like.
Okay.
Elise,
Anything? Okay.
what types of things can we do to help you here as far as letting people know about your office or your services at the center?
Thank you. Well, one, I really appreciate that, but you know, there's a couple things you can do. One, I encourage every one of you to come up and visit the office so you can really get a feel for what we have to offer. Offer caregivers our services. If you ever see a caregiver, because if you've been a caregiver, you know that is the most stressful, noble thing you can do. It truly is God's work, but it's really hard on a caregiver. So another thing that we offer for caregivers is free care consultations, and I do those. And that would just be someone either coming into the office or calling on the phone, and we'll have a good 1-hour conversation about whatever they want to talk about, whatever they're going through. Tell people about us. Also, we always need volunteers to teach classes and run support groups. So think about your network, and you know, if you think anyone would be interested in doing that, I would encourage you to give them some information, tell them where I am. You know, I really, COVID kind of cut into our volunteers, so I would love to have more volunteers.
Excellent. Thank you, Elise, so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Marilyn, do we have a director's report? Or
Yes, we
your
do.
report.
Thank you, Elise, so much for that important information. I always a reminder of how everyone is impacted by Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. I mean, the truth of the matter is we each have either will experience it for ourselves personally or be a caregiver to someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Usually the case.
Do you have any suggestions though for people that aren't experiencing it, you know, that they haven't identified it as being a part of their life? Do you have kind of an understanding of how to help people prepare for it, knowing that statistic is sitting there?
Right. Well, there's a couple things you can do. First off, we do have 2 classes that are not necessarily for people in the, middle stages of Alzheimer's. And those classes, one of them is called Healthy Living for Brain and Body, Tips from the Latest Research. So what I think, my opinion is that when they find that magic medicine for Alzheimer's disease, the treatment for Alzheimer's disease is going to be twofold. Think heart disease. You've got the medicine, but then they tell you to be healthy, eat better, exercise. And those are called protective factors. Those are factors we have control over. So this healthy living class kind of talks about tips and tricks for how we can reduce our vulnerability to dementia, and just kind of, brings to mind all these other things about brain health that maybe when people think about eating right and exercising, they're not thinking of brain health. They're thinking of heart health or losing weight. And then the next class we have is called the 10 Warning Signs. And I really like this class because I have a lot of people that come to this class worried that they have Alzheimer's disease. And what this class does is it goes through what's normal aging and normal forgetting versus what's abnormal and should be looked at closer. People always think because they lose their keys 6 times a day, they must have Alzheimer's or they're getting it. And that's simply not the case.
That's good.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I'm going to stop your video and I'm going to move to sharing my other screen. Thank you again. While I do that. Let's see. Okay. Well, we don't need to see that I got 100% on my editor's score, but kudos, Marilyn. Okay, so here we So here's the director's report, and I'm not going to read it to you, but I wanted to slide down. Is Wendy still on the screen?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to go down to you, Wendy, because I know you need to
Thank
get to
you.
program, and you have cute pictures this time, and I want you to
do.
talk about your program.
Yes, I wanted the cute picture so you could get a good view of what's really going on there in Respite. But first, let me say hi. I haven't seen everybody for a long time, and it's good to be here. So Respite is growing. Currently with Among Friends, we are serving 92 participants for the month of February and their caregivers on 11 days with an average daily attendance of 8. And the reason why that comes down so much is on Tuesday and Wednesday, I've got a large class. I've got about 12 people that are in that. But on my Friday that I just started is currently we have 4 to 5 people in there. So I'm growing that still, and I think my numbers will go up. But for a whole, with the Among Friends program, I have 19 individuals that are currently enrolled in Among Friends, and I have some of them coming 3 days a week. A lot come 2 days a week, and then I have a few that are just 1 time a week. So time with friends, I served 33 participants and their caregivers. It says 3 days with an average daily attendance of 11. So the snow affected our numbers a little bit this month. I had 2 snow days. So then our caregiver education, we had John Hughes, and John came up with a really good idea. It was avoid caregiver burnout and stress and 10 reasons why you should eat chocolate. So that was fun. We served chocolate, and the class was stressed the need for caregivers to take care of themselves, including having breaks. And then John told us the benefits of chocolate. So that was fun. Thank you, John. March, our caregiver education is going to be caring for someone with a serious illness, and the speaker there will be Karen Lewis with Willamette Vital Health. And then here is time with friends. We've got the men sitting at one table. We have the ladies sitting at another table. Anyway, this was the Valentine's Day celebration. So it was a lot of fun. We frosted cookies, and Avamere Cordic Kaiser put together some cute little boxes, and I just showered them with candy. But it was a fun day. But there's lots of smiles, and we just have a good time in there. So I just wanted you to see a little closer look at what's going on in the respite program. So, and then our sponsors, we have Winsong Memory Care, Douglas Conroy Gibbon Pacheco Attorneys, Pacific Living Centers, Hawthorne House and Harmony House of Salem, and then McGinty and Belcher's Attorney. So that's all I got.
Do you have any questions for Wendy?
I just have a comment. The respite is so good. It is so helpful. And yeah, it is with friends, because I've gained all these friends as a volunteer.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no other questions for Wendy, I'll let her head on out to program, and I'm going to move to Conoy. So, the purpose of our director's comments is to share what we've done and to share what's coming up. And so that we have this ongoing comparison of growth or changes. So, that's kind of the purpose of it. But if you find that you're not getting the information you want, or there's something else that you're wanting from these reports, please let us know, ask questions. That will drive us to start gathering things that might be of more interest to you. If you have a particular concern or anything, please use this time to do that. I'm going to spotlight Conoy and the Health and Fitness Center.
Thank you, Marilyn. First, I just want to piggyback on to Bonnie's comment. Our respite program is something to really be proud of. Wendy does a stand-up job, and the reason she does such a great job is she has so many great volunteers. I had the opportunity last week to go in there and be with this amazing group for just a couple of hours. And I'm going to be honest with you, we played this celebrity game, and she had all these different pictures up, Cary Grant, Joe DiMaggio, people that I didn't know who these people were. So I'm running a game, and I learned so much. I didn't know who all these folks were. And so it was really fun. It's so engaging. Everyone in there is just lovely, and it's just a shout out to her volunteers. They truly do support her and the program. So I just want to mention that. Moving on to health and wellness, I'm really excited. I'm going to give you an update right now on our gym members. Last we looked at that back in 2019, our record was 345 members, which was a pretty big deal. But we went ahead and blew that out of the water because we currently have 467 members. Now, I'm not saying all 467 are coming every day, because we know how it goes. But they're coming fairly often, and that's what I get to put on my report. As far as, I will say 260 of those members are silver and fit. About another 80 are going to be my Renew Active members. Only around 10 silver sneakers. And then the rest are our paid members. So clearly the reimbursement programs through insurances are a huge help to us. That being said, all of our classes are going wonderful. I mentioned last month that we're down in the auditorium, and that was supposed to just kind of be a short-term thing till we could move back up to the exercise studio. But we are right there at about 25, sometimes 30 students. There's no coming back up, guys. We are growing, and that is just really exciting to me. The reason that's exciting is because now I have a whole nother space where I can start doing some additional programming. Obviously not anything to compete with what classes are going downstairs, but I'm exploring things like meditation classes up here at more quieter hours in the gym. Just trying to be able to utilize every inch that we can of the space that we have. Another exciting thing as far as our contractors go, we have a foot care contractor now, and she's starting on Monday. I'm so excited. This is a service that is so needed in our community, and we saw that from October when we had our last foot care technician here until now. We haven't had anything, and we've had folks calling from all over trying to get in, and we've been taking names. We've already got her pretty full for her first week here, which is really encouraging. And I'm glad that we can offer that service again. Right now, we're just going to do Mondays, and then when we can really build it up a little bit more, we'll be going active again Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 to 4. So if you saw my Facebook post about it, if you know anyone who could use a little extra care in their feet, let them know about us. And yeah, so those are some pretty big things for us. Upcoming programming.
Kanoe,
Yeah.
what is the cost of the foot care?
It is $35. Yeah, it's very reasonable. I looked at a few other contractors and they were charging upwards of $50. In fact, when we were calling around yesterday to let people know, we had folks saying, I was driving all the way to Silverton for $50 and I couldn't do it. So it was amazing to be able to be the hero in that situation and bring them back for just $35.
Does she accept insurance as well?
You know, we actually don't run that program here. It's all out of pocket.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes. As far as classes that are coming up, we do have our next Healthy Living lecture scheduled for Thursday, April 20th. And I'm excited about this one. This is a holistic approaches to pain management. The folks from the Beyond Pain Clinic came and kind of sat with me for a little while and told me a little bit about what their program does. So they're going to spend some time talking about their Pain to Purpose program, and it's a 10-week program. It is actually all done virtually right now. But basically what they do is they're giving you the opportunity to, in a group virtual setting, be able to support each other. They're going to give you kind of some ways to manage your own pain holistically. They do kind of like a support group type of feel. I think it's kind of a neat program just to at least even hear about. We don't do a lot with holistic pain management, so I think this will be really interesting. We are limited to around 20 folks in attendance. That's kind of what we're planning for. So make sure if you're interested or you know somebody who might be to get your call into our fitness center and get your seat reserved. Yeah.
Any questions for Kanoe? You'll just see that in each of their reports, we're trying to let you know what is the goal of the program so that next month when we report, you'll be able to see, oh, they met their goal. We're trying to, demonstrate that programming here has scope and scale. And not only do our contractors kind of lead us on how many they're willing to take in a class, but just space of a room dictates how many people can be in a class. And so when we say 20 people, once in a while we'll get, well, there's 65,000 people in Salem. That's not a very good representation. Well, the scope and scale is 20. And so we want to compare that each month. Did we set the goal? Did we accomplish the goal? And so that we have something to say, because sometimes just hearing a number, you're like, well, is that good? Is it bad? Well, we're hoping that you can see the direction things are moving in. And then sometimes you're going to see it didn't meet a goal. And then that's an opportunity to talk about it. Thank you, Kanoe. So the next on my report is Heidi. For outreach services, she's going to give us a brief report about what's happening in the senior community program area.
Hi, everyone. Great seeing you all. Yeah, so we just had a really fun February, and I gave you a number of highlights. Once again, I'm so impressed with our card makers. They really have been and become an anchor for us during COVID. Most of you know that we hit 4 years this last week with COVID, and our Friendship Brigade volunteers. That program was originally designed to recruit, train, and connect volunteers to go into community care and nursing environments and actively engage and befriend the residents who live there. And with COVID, we weren't able to go in to those facilities. And so we tried all sorts of different ways to stay connected. And this card making group is just a great example of how we've been able to step in and be a part of the lives of our resident friends during COVID. So, you know, I just think it was funny. We just had another card making group last week, and Kathy and Joan, our volunteer coordinators of the card makers, were laughing at me. They said, "We made so many cards, you're going to have a hard time giving them away." So that was great. We did, we try to spread the love around 20 or so different facilities, our 12 core partner facilities, as well as assisted living and 55 plus communities. And so we were able to get out there to those folks with that. And I will say that regarding the Friendship Brigade, we are actively recruiting for volunteers to go back into the facilities. We've been invited back for over a year, but with mask requirements and with the push and pull of COVID, our recruitment has been sluggish, and our ability to really show up and be present again with our friends has been impacted. So if you have a moment and you want to think about your own network and think about your own time and availability, I would really encourage you to consider joining us for one of several trainings. We have a trainings scheduled on the 9th for 10 a.m. and also 1 p.m. and then again on the 28th of this month for 11 to noon, and which will be virtual, and 1 to 2. So those are things to think about for the Friendship Brigade. And then just moving on, Marilyn, can I see that? Thank you. We, you know, obviously our Friendly Caller program continues to connect with folks at home. They were rock stars once again with snow and cold. They were doing double duty, double checking on their folks. And like I say here, that the Canine Corps hit, this is a huge landmark for Dale Turner, our Canine Corps coordinator, and for our canine teams. The 15 teams now are trained to get out there, so that's very good. And then as far as the spotlight for the Villages Network, we just want to let you know that the Villages Network we're continuing to reach out into our communities with service days, the monthly service day schedule that rotates around the city. We also are continuing our partnership with Catholic Community Services with our Generations Camp. That has kind of turned out to be an ongoing, you know, monthly activity, but the spring and summer season is when we get to be outdoors with folks. And so that means last year we had just really fun programming. Like we built volcanoes. Remember the grade school science project with the kids? We did crafting and the like. And so we're really looking forward to that again. But we also do opportunities for neighbors to connect with each other and take pride in their neighborhood. One thing that's true about the village movement is that it is about helping older adults connect with one another who live in proximity with one another, and to build relationships and feel supported by their age-friendly neighbors as well. But every neighborhood is a little different. So I want to invite you to think about your own neighborhood, and where we partner with neighborhood associations and with church groups and with schools, even those neighborhood assets might be far flung if you think about it, right? A neighborhood association has a large footprint in our city. But when we personally think of our own neighborhoods, we usually think of something that's hyper-focused around our own house and maybe our walkable neighborhood. And so I want you to just think a little bit about that, and then think about, how are your relationships? Are you tight with your immediate neighbors? Do you know each other? Do you do things with each other? And one of the goals in our spring and summer session, when we bring our WOW van out, is to actually invite people who say, yeah, I've got a tight-knit group, to come and share their best practices with us, so we can report about what's happening and how people are connecting in the neighborhood through social media and other channels. So that's something that we'll be doing when we bring our WOW van out and whatnot. We'll also be doing those neighborhood spring cleanups in May. Last year we did a massive spring cleanup in the Mill Creek Meadows apartment community. And I did it like the first weekend of spring, which was cold. And it was in March. And I'm looking at Bonnie McGregor on the screen. She was there. She knows how cold it was.
It was cold. It was fun.
So we made sure that wasn't going to happen again. We're going to be doing cleanup events in May. And like I said, we've been doing Generations Camp throughout the year, but May is probably our kickoff for those warmer month activities outdoors. And we will wrap it up in August with National Night Out. And then something that I didn't report on here with the spotlight is that we've been doing a monthly forum online. This last month, we had a small group of about 8 or so come together and talk about friendships. And on March 13th coming up, we'll be talking, we'll be talking about Women's Day and what it means to be a woman today. And I expect that that's going to be a great conversation. And in April and May, I'm kind of doing 2 parts. In April, we'll be focusing on solo agers. This is a perfect topic for the Village Network to explore and share, because we know that there's many of us who are living alone at home that may not have connections with friends or family nearby, and there's a real need to say, who is your care team, and who are your connections, and what does it mean to be a solo ager, and how do you connect, and so that you can live the life that you want as you age, and also feel supported and safe and grounded in your community. So in April, the second weekend in April, we'll be or second Monday in April, we'll be focusing on solo agers as a, in the context of who makes up our community. And then in May, we'll be focusing on building your caregiver team as a solo ager. So, and then finally, I know Marilyn has this, and we've talked about it already, but we are finishing up our submission for that volunteer driver program to assist seniors who are transportation dependent. So there's a whole network of folks who have needs. And when you think of services for transportation, you might think of the bus, you might think of Lyft, you might think of a medical transport, but then there's also the informal network of friends and family that most of us rely on when we think of needing an appointment buddy to go to the doctor, or to do simple things like get to the bank and go to grocery shopping. When you don't have strong social supports and you don't have an ability to drive or get to those places, and for whatever reason the public system or transportation system doesn't work for you, maybe you have mobility concerns that don't allow you to get down to the bus stop and wait for a bus, or those sorts of things, or it's too expensive, or it's too time consuming, or maybe you have other concerns that just make it impractical, like memory concerns that make it impractical to use those public systems, and you don't have personal supports. A volunteer driver program has the ability to step in and create supports. So we're very excited about that.
Excellent. Heidi, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to go ahead and let you read the report for several of the items because we've run out of time. But I do want to just say that we have some upcoming events, pretty important to take a look at. 3/11, which is, that's the wrong date, guys. It's this Saturday, please, or this Friday, please correct that. It's 3/10 at noon. We have COVIDology, sharing life lessons from behind the mask. This is a free book reading, and it's going to be just really interesting. So if you have some lessons you learned during COVID, a great time to come and share. We have rescheduled the Cup of Joe for 3/24 due to weather. So on March 24th, which is a Friday morning, we're going to do Cup of Joe Sustainers Circle. If you were already at a table, please show up on the 24th. If you were hosting a table, please call your people you were hosting and remind them. And if you are, this date now works for you and it didn't work before, we have room for you still. So please mark your calendar for Friday the 24th. And we are bringing back the Capitol Wood Carving Show. That's on April 1st and 2nd. We are having our in-person advisory commission meeting on April 4th. And we're bringing back our Spring Chick Women's Conference on May 6th. So we're pretty, you see a few of our old things coming back and quite a bit of good feedback about that. Quickly, Generations Over Dinner was a project that was near and dear to my heart. We had 6 meals, 6 dinner tables or / brunch tables. We had over 60 people participate. It was partnering university students with people of all ages to get to know each other and to have conversation. On the 13th of March, I will get the survey results and we will look at, improvements for the next round of Generations Over Dinner. But in general, very positive feedback. The Age-Friendly Initiative, I touched on it briefly in our annual report, but I'll have you take a look at that when you have a moment. These are the projects that we're moving forward, and the next step is our April 4th meeting where we will launch that conversation about a communication plan. You might have known that we've been doing Friday lunches, and those have ended because Marion Polk Food Share is now serving lunch. They opened up this month, and we have had so much feedback that they miss our lunch program because of the look and feel. It was a different dynamic. I don't know why. It just is. So we are going to try dinner. And so Wednesday nights from 5 to 6:30 this Wednesday, and Wednesdays moving forward, as long as they're well received, we're going to serve dinner. And Laird, our cafe cook chef, will be leading up the meal. And this week, I'll just tell you, it's chicken Alfredo, broccoli, green salad, bread, and a dessert. But we're going to do that, but we're encouraging people of all ages to join us. We have a space limit of 50 or 60. And so first come, first serve, we're encouraging people to RSVP, and we're inviting our neighbors to join us. We're hoping it'll grow to be like a community dinner. And then I will have you take a peek at the rest: lifelong learning, age-friendly initiative. We have been very busy, lots of activities and programs going on. Attendance is up. We are seeing anywhere between 4 and 550 a day, which is a significant increase, and we're just continually moving in the right direction. Last but not least, we are going through the process. The city is going through a process of hiring a new deputy city manager, which will oversee a department called Community Services. That will be the department in which Center 50 Plus will sit. And so over the next 30 days or so, 30, 45 days, you may see some information in the newspaper. You may see, you might hear of tours. You might also see some opportunities where they have invited the public in to assist with the interviews. But that is happening, and we'll have more to share as they move forward with the new deputy city manager, with a vision and discussions of where Center 50 Plus will rest and how we will integrate with other departments. So that's that, more to come. And that's what I have. Does anybody have any questions for me? I want to thank everybody for their reports today. And Elise, thank you for your presentation. I appreciate that.
Do we have a Friends fundraising report?
We had a beef and burgundy, and normally it would be a Friends person reporting on this, so we'll have to get organized on this. We had a beef and burgundy event. Really, it was a great event, but not really a fundraiser. I think we made $250 when it was all said and done. But beyond that, we have our Cup of Joe event coming up on the 24th. So please support that. That is one of our bigger sustainer programs, an event where people can commit for the year to support us in small or large ways.
And I know we're working on the sponsor or our supporter meeting to get the word out too, to work on our membership, not slash supporter. So we're working on it.
Friends is working on several things. Karen Bolliger is here. Do you want to share?
Let's see here. Well, coming up is the largest thing, Cup of Joe. And then on June 9th, we will have our annual meeting, and we're going to combine it with a strawberry shortcake event. So the two events together. And we would certainly invite and encourage all you folks on SCAC to come to the annual meeting. And
Okay.
I think that's about it off the top of my head.
Next meeting. Okay. Does anybody else have anything we need to talk about? No?
Yes, Suzanne has raised her hand.
Oh,
Suzanne?
good.
Marilyn, you asked me just to mention the schedule for those 2 meetings, I think you said, the age-friendly committees. Do you want me to send it out or tell it now?
Just mention it and then we'll email everyone too.
Oh, okay. So the age-friendly communication meeting is monthly, second Tuesdays at 9 a.m. And the age-friendly mobility transportation committee would meet monthly, 4th Tuesdays at 9 a.m. And then I can email a picture of that with all the dates actually listed through December, if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Much appreciated. I believe that's about it for the meeting. I appreciate being able to do this. It's a good learning, so hopefully I did okay. So do we have any motion to close the meeting?
So moved. And thank you so much, Bonnie, for stepping in.
Oh, Ron, you're there. Good. Okay, thank you. All righty. Anything else? Oh, we need a second.
I'll second.
Second. All raise their hands to agree. And not, okay, I call a meeting to close, I guess. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see everyone in real life next month.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes. It'll be nice.
Yep.
It'll be great. Okay. See you later.
Thank you. I'm gonna go stop the recording, David, and then I will be with you, okay? Okay.